Hello, everyone. Welcome to the brief hour about MHANYS. Thank you for attending today. Just a few housekeeping things. If you do have questions throughout the presentation, just put them in the questions area. We'll get to them at the end. We will also be throwing a few links in the chat throughout the presentation as well, so just keep an eye out for that as well. Do know that these materials will be sent afterward, probably on Monday, via the presentation and a PDF with a bunch of links in them, and then also I will collect everything that goes in the chat and send them over as well in the email. So thank you, Whitney and Ariella, for doing this presentation with us, and I'm going to turn it over to you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. My name is Ariella Preswalik. I'm a project coordinator, and I'm here with Whitney Clausen, our family education specialist. We both work at the School Mental Health Resource and Training Center, which is a project of the Mental Health Association, New York State. So during our brief time together today, we're going to cover the basics about mental health law, talk about how library staff are a tremendous resource to support families in those developing curriculum. We will also take a tour of our website as we highlight some of our available resources. So the Mental Health Association New York State, or MHANYS as we call it, improves the lives of individuals, families, and communities by raising mental health awareness, ending stigma and discrimination, and promoting wellness and recovery. We have affiliates across New York State providing a range of services, including school-based centers, crisis and peer services, supportive housing, and family programs. So we were the leading advocate organization supporting grassroots efforts to bring mental health education to schools. The Resource Center was established by MHANYS with funding from New York State to help schools implement the law that requires mental health instruction as part of the K through 12 curriculum. We provide professional development, technical assistance for curriculum development, family education, and help promote school community partnerships. So here is an excerpt, of New York State law. So all schools shall ensure that their health education programs recognize the multiple dimensions of health by including mental health and the relationship of physical health and mental health, so as to enhance student understanding, attitudes, and behaviors that promote health, well-being, and human dignity. So the green text indicates an understanding of mental health as part of overall health, and it references multiple dimensions of health and the relationship between physical health and mental health, which is something we really talk about at MHANYS. In addition, the last line, to enhance student understanding, attitudes, and behaviors that promote health, well-being, and human dignity, that really is about reducing stigma. So our approach to mental health education is one that focuses more on wellness. We talk about mental health as a continuum from well to unwell. So we all have mental health, just like we all have physical health, and there are things we can do that help to keep us on that well end of the continuum. So that includes things like self-care strategies, like getting enough sleep and eating healthy, as well as coping strategies like mindfulness, journaling, and connecting with our support network. So while mental health education includes some understanding of signs and symptoms, risk and protective factors, and how to seek help, the focus really is on a holistic view of wellness. It also should include understanding the relationship between mental health and substance use and misuse, as well as the concept of recovery. So we did receive a few questions through the registration about family instruction. And I just want to ask you, Whitney, would you say talking about mental health this way is also relevant for families?
You know, I think this approach is great for everyone, from schools to the community to families, because it really is just about changing that conversation and really just making the conversation a more positive one, you know, moving away from that illness and diagnostic labeling zone that, you know, some people tend to fall into for mental health, and more focusing on that holistic, whole person approach. And we're actually going to get into some techniques that families can use to help with that conversation a little bit later. So.
Awesome, thank you. So if y'all haven't seen this already, this is the mental health education guidance document released by the state education department. It was created with input from an advisory council that included education stakeholders, family and youth advocates, and community providers. It's a very comprehensive document, including framework for mental health instruction that builds on a strong SEL foundation, resources for school community partnerships, and suggestions for multi-tiered systems approach to creating a culture and climate of wellness in schools. So at the Resource Center, it's our job to help schools unpack this guidance document and provide technical assistance for implementing mental health education using a school-wide approach. So now we're going to show you some of those specific resources.
Absolutely. So we're going to navigate on our page for a little bit of our time today. I know we're going to try to squeeze a lot into a short amount of time, hence the brief in our title, but we're going to explore here. Go right back here and we'll share this page here of our main website. There we go. I believe we're back. So again, for educators, this is what our main site looks like. We do have a tab over here on the right, which you can see here has, oh, I'm sorry, I'm having a sizing problem on my screen here. Can you see the website or can you see us still as well? Ariella or whoever's viewing the screen.
I see us
Okay.
and the website.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure if you guys are all seeing that okay, but essentially over on our home screen, we have a resource section here. I'm sorry, I'm just having a little bit of, okay, explore. I need to get rid of this thing here. Sorry, guys. Working on two separate computers is not as easy as you would think it is. So over here for educators, we have their guidance document, like Ariella said here. By clicking here, you can see that comes up and a little bit of information about mental health instruction, the guidance document ready to read, accessible right through here. That will bring you to this beautiful PDF, which you can print if you need printable resources. We have the technical assistance portion here, which you can find resources for curriculum development. These would be packaged items here, like our apps list, which we have some for youth and adults. We have some that focus on mood tracking. We know that we don't always like to spend a lot of time on technology if we can avoid it, but we do know that there are some helpful resources there. We also have lesson plans and book resources. We did get a question about that, what that looks like. We do provide book selections by grade here on our website, if you can see that. So middle school, high school, K through 6, and these are great opportunities to kind of use them as a lesson themselves, right? Maybe read the book, come up with some questions that they can ask among, talk to each other in the classroom or in their student groups or, in outside programs that the library may host. So those book opportunities are very helpful, and some actually are designed that we have shared there are for more of the clinical setting. So maybe the counselors are utilizing those books more. So promoting mental health and wellness, we have a lot of things in each of these boxes here, and they're updated all the time. So tips for trauma sensitive classrooms, transgender and gender nonconforming guidance documents. So lots of different things for educators and people who work in the classroom to utilize there. Going back to our screen here. All right. Just want to make sure everyone is still seeing the right part of the presentation. We'll move into the families, resources for families here. And same thing, over on the blue side, we have educators, students, families, and caregivers. So that families and caregivers tab brings you to another set of boxes. And one of our big things we really like to highlight are the family education webinar series. Here you can see that we have archived a ton of webinars over the last year. So they're all available here. You do just have to register with your email, but they are all free. Coping with the Crisis is also available in Spanish, which some people have found really helpful. So lots of different topics here, lots of different things covered, a little bit of something for everybody. But again, another opportunity to use these webinars as a training opportunity or discussion points. We do have one coming up that's talking about highlighting the roles of school mental health staff. So you guys may find that to be very interesting as well. Back over on our families and caregivers page, we have a couple projects that we're working on, and you can also find them at the top tab here. But our Mindful Moments Family web series is another one that we really enjoy. It was a partnership that we did with an outside organization called Peaceful Schools. And here you can see all the 9 videos. They're great. They're a little bit of an education with a visual tool that they just kind of, whether it's yoga or chair yoga or breathing exercise, they walk you through it, and it really helps to build the confidence, you know, together as a group while you're learning. This is one of the things that we really like for families. And again, everything is right here, free. You can click and start, stop and go, come back to it when you're ready. Really, they do kind of progress throughout, which is kind of fun as well. So going back to those 4 squares, the coping skills, we have a tab here, which we'll be updating more for the summer. We've got some new resources coming our way. So again, apps, let me just see. Supporting school and youth and beyond. This is another helpful one. We got some about IEPs and working with students in college and transitioning. So again, you'll find some things here for that group. A little bit of everything. Like I said, there's a lot here, and it's a lot easier when you can see all of the screens and you're doing this from your own home. I can guarantee that than with the way that we're showing you right now. So I appreciate everyone being patient if you're not seeing all the things I think you are. But again, we do have another little bit of chunks up here in our resources and our projects tab. Again, bullying prevention, resources, school shorts. Moving on here. Sorry, one second. I've lost our presentation, I believe. If you're back on seeing that, I do apologize. It's a little bit crazy on my end over here. So my apologies.
Was there for a second. There it is. Okay. You're perfect.
All right, guys, thanks for being patient. So again, this is kind of what our K through 6 book selections look like. Resources for families. We showed you a little bit of our site there. We do have printable versions of this here. We call it our rack card. They are available in English and Spanish. We can send those out to you if you'd like. Just send us a little email or reach out in the chat, and we'll try to get you some of those sent over your way. A really great tool to just give, you know, when you check out the books, you can stick it in like a little bookmark, really just opening up that conversation. So next we'll move into resources for everyone. We do have a virtual wellness room, which we really are also working on updating some more things for the summer, but we have 4 rooms right now: express yourself, get moving, be mindful, and embrace optimism. So that virtual wellness room, again, will bring us to some activities that you can do together as a family. We have nature mindfulness walks, we have a gratitude calendar, we have stress less techniques, we have all kinds of different fun things that are just also can get you outside, can get you engaged in the community and the people around you, using them as a resource. So again, when you're on our page, that projects tab will bring you to a wellness room. Look for this banner and you'll see all kinds of great resources in there. So Ariel, if you want to tell us about this next activity, kind of goes along with that wellness room.
Absolutely. So this is something that, you know, youth can do on their own. This is something a teacher can use as an activity in the classroom. but it's basically using that virtual wellness room and, you know, printing out this worksheet here, or even doing a fillable PDF. But this really makes you think about what are specific things that are going to keep them well when they need it. So, you know, just the top 3 things. And usually, I think that these 4 boxes match the 4 doors at this point.
Yes.
At least 3 of them do. But you know, this is just, it's a good thing to have on hand. So, you know, walking through this with them, and then later on when kids are feeling stressed or anything else, they can take out this piece of paper and say like, okay, this is what I'm going to try. I'm going to do this, 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 and this. So it's a nice activity. Our coworker Cohen made it. Looks very nice.
Yeah, I know someone said they put it in the front of their binder, those plastic ones with the cover in the front. They slipped it right in the front, and it's just kind of like or in the back, you know, if you want to be more discreet, just a helpful tool, or coping cards. Sometimes people are familiar with things like that. But again, just some visual cues to refocus yourself when you're starting to struggle. Again, because, you know, those moments don't always come when we want them to, so we need to be prepared.
Absolutely. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month. You know, we just want to remind everyone to take our May pledge, which is on MHANYS website, so not the school website. So that's just MHANYS.org. So sign up for the toolkit. It has all new resources in there to share, educate, engage, advocate, decrease the stigma, all the good things, so you can find additional information, and I think there's some available trainings in there as well.
Yes.
So
yep.
Yeah,
a whole bunch of community trainings that would otherwise be fee for service, right? So it's a really good time to hop on those and take advantage of the free offerings throughout the month of May. So definitely. So I ran into a little technical jam there. So I'm gonna, with my screen, I think, so I'm gonna stop sharing that. And if you can see just us now, I believe. We're back in action. So we do have some time for some questions. We were getting some things throughout, you know, before we got started, we had a couple things passed over to us from Christina, which was great, about some questions y'all might have had. But if there's anything that's come through in the chat in the meantime, we're happy to address some of those if we can. Looks like someone's just looking for some materials, which we will send a resource document out after this, which has some hyperlinks so you can get to certain parts of our website more directly. So
yeah, would you be able to put your emails in the chat? I think that'd be helpful for everyone.
Absolutely.
And I think in the meantime, you can go through some of the sent over.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, I think in the meantime, we can go through some of the questions that were sent over, because I know there were the few that some of the people here would love to discuss a little bit more, especially the ones about colleges and academic needs.
Absolutely. So we've got those pulled up here. So for the college students and things like that too, this, I would say, it sounded like they were also looking for resources for people who were student teaching. So in that case, we would really try to direct you more to that educators page, right? Because you are going to be an educator, you're training to be one. So that's going to be the zone where you're going to have a lot of resources, those lesson plans, that guidance document, the talking about biases and implicit bias and things like that. Those are all really helpful skills for, you know, people who are going into the education field to have early on. A lot of that trauma-informed approach, a lot of the SEL work that we have, the framework that's built into a lot of the work that we do, that's just recently been updated by CASEL to be a little bit more inclusive. So that new wheel is on our website, and a lot of our resources, again, are being adjusted to be more inclusive for everybody. And as we develop our site, we're actually making these community partnerships where we're going to have more for specific communities as well. So that will also help you as educators or student teachers or counselors say, hi, I have a student struggling with this, and we'll have hopefully more resources on that specific issue coming up as we expand our resource center, which has only been in operation for about 2.5 years. So we've been expanding pretty quickly, and Ariella and I came on right before the pandemic, so to do a lot of this work. So it's been a very awesome and exciting year. But again, some of those talking points really help, I think, that conversation for students, especially in college, about stigma and going to counseling services. You know, we had another question about checking out books. How do you get around that if people aren't comfortable checking out a mental health or a self-help book, right? Sometimes in libraries there's a section, maybe they don't want to be seen in that section, but we had the idea, like we were talking to our director, was just to normalize it more, right? Like maybe make it a display for Mental Health Month and have them all out there together and say, this is normal part of wellness. This is a normal part of every day. Just like you would talk about healthy eating and healthy sleeping, we're going to talk about brain health. And here's a bunch of books, like it's really exciting, come and grab one. And right, so there's no shame based around it. It's more like it's all here for everyone. Look at how helpful everything is. Please take and grab it, you know, just changing kind of the energy and the conversation around it. You know, might still be a little bit before people are totally comfortable with that, but you know, some libraries do offer self-checkout. I know some people have, you know, if they're really maybe socially anxious, I'm not sure, maybe you can answer this more, but maybe checking with the librarian and getting a book list together and talking about maybe pulling things so then you go quickly. I don't know if those things are available, but again, things that you would just ask your supportive media specialists about, or your library staff, because from what we can see, they're ready and willing to help. So hopefully just having these resources can help point them in the right direction. So yeah, I think the college question there. The other question, a couple questions we got for family instruction, we'll just revisit that again. The family education webinars, I think, would be a huge resource for the family instruction. Also in the Learning Communities Project tab, we had a lot of archived things from the fall. We had Lunch and Learn series, which are really great, and that's something small and chunkable that people can do and kind of make a 4-week program out of it. If you want to watch the lunch talk and then debrief as a group, that would be a great opportunity. We also had some specialized presentations throughout with experts. So parenting in a crisis or parenting in a pandemic, resilient families, trauma. We really highlight some expert voices as well, just outside of our resource center staff as well. So that kind of those webinars could really be used in a lot of different ways. And if you ever want, like, you know, tips on creating some discussion questions, you know, we're happy to do that. So people use that school's email quite often to reach out to us, and we're able to kind of respond and give you back some specific resources to help you with a, you know, specific question you might have. Like recently I'm working on one for a reentry for somebody, but it's like, you know, it's what we do. It's not abnormal to receive emails like that. So please feel free to reach out if you do have any questions like that. A couple other questions, the book lists, the resources for college libraries. Again, so the mindful moments, the wellness rooms, all those things kind of carry over for families and caregivers and individuals. It just depends on how you use them. Like if you want to make them a teachable moment, the discussion questions and group gathering afterwards really makes that a lot easier. So what kinds of tools or services should people have handy to better communicate? So again, in the main website, right on top, that resources tab, the whole New York State county resource is great, because I think you just type in your county and what you need, and it's shortened list more so than you might get if you just type it in off Google or something like that. You might get a bazillion, it's a really technical word, bazillion, but it's you might get a million responses, and that can be really overwhelming for people. And that's what we're trying to help limit, is just that, oh my gosh, where do I even start feeling? So our website, you know, like we mentioned before, we don't really dive too deep into a lot of the clinical stuff, but we do just keep it all focused around wellness and bringing it back to supporting families and schools and students with their mental health. So I know, Ariella, we talked about maybe dropping some links in there, but I don't know if we'll send the resource link out. But I think if there was any additional questions that came through, I think I hit all the ones on the list you gave me, I think. So
I know that we just had a comment from Allison, and she said, we provide a list of uncomfortable topics that shows students where to find mental health and other resources so they can find them without asking at the library. That's another good.
okay, so that is great. So that's something that she's doing at her specific location, which again, right, limits that. Maybe they're not totally comfortable coming up to the desk and asking for help. I could see that being a really great thing to just maybe grab off the counter, or, you know, a lot of libraries have those rack stations set up, which is, you know, why we have those cards, exactly for those reasons. You know, you don't have to talk about it right at the moment, but if you see it and you grab it, you take it with you, and then you kind of work on it on your own time, and things like that. So again, those are available, and that sounds like something that would pair perfectly with her uncomfortable topics sheet that she has going there. So we're happy to send those to you if you'd like them. Just let us know. Let's see. Okay, I don't see anything else in our tab there, but again, I apologize if you couldn't see me before, or we were having a little bit of a problem.
You looked fine from my end, but
I just couldn't tell if I was navigating the site okay, because I lost it and I was like, is this my own screen or their screen? But yeah, you know, again, 30 minutes is tough, but we're happy to be with you guys here today with you. And again, any questions on the website, just let us know, and stay tuned, because we have some interesting summer toolkits coming up. And like Ariella mentioned, that May toolkit is just jam-packed with stuff, and it's a little bit more general for the community as well, not just school side focus, which is where we spend a lot of our time at the Resource Center. So that might also be good for the community programs and things like that you guys might want to feature. So
yeah, I do have one question I think might be interesting. They might be interested in. Is there like a general newsletter that you all have that they can maybe add their email to, just to make sure they're keeping up to date with what MHANYS is up to?
yes, we do. We have a listserv, and I'm gonna try to find. Well, we'll just put the website in here.
it's right on the
But if you
MHANYS.
go, sorry, what were you saying?
I think it's right on the side panel of the main MHANYS page. You could sign up for that listserv, and similar to like your news you can use, they send out, or Ariella does a great monthly email with all of our updates and happenings. So from the school side, but that listserv also gets you on the MHANYS information as well. So you'll receive everything off that one listserv. So.
Well, thank you both so much for taking the time to talk to us today. It was so informative, and Katie already said thank you to you both as well.
Yeah, no, it's been good for us to connect with a new group. Yeah, it's been fun.
And just to remind everyone still on the line, this has been recorded and all materials will be sent to you by latest Monday. That was either showed today or were in the chat. So thank you so much and have a great day.
Yes, thank you guys. We'll talk soon. Bye.